So if you have a short attention span, here it is. And in the next part of the video, we'll talk about why each of these are good and briefly how to make it good. YouTube, Pink Ponage here, and this is a meta tier list video for Population 1, the newest one to date as of October 5th, 2025. And here we go. We're going to get right to it. This is a one-stop tier list. Some people have separated this years ago by professional grade tier list versus newbie tier list, but we're just saying this is the meta from the highest. This is kind of portrays the highest level of comp, but I do feel like it does portray the entire meta that if is not today will be perhaps in a month from now as of the time you see this video. So without further ado, what we'll do is we're going to go through each weapon. I'm going to talk about why each weapon is good, tell you how to use it to make it good briefly. There are videos for that in this channel that will help you master it, and then we will briefly compare to what the meta was the last time we did this, which I think is really fun to do, for at least for me, a nerd for this game, obviously. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Let's start with whatever I got here on the right side of my screen. We are going to start with the FAL. The FAL is honestly a really good weapon, and the reason why is because in this current meta, and this is going to be the theme for all of these, the meta is about burst. The highest amount of damage you can fit into a short window. Why? Because everyone is so good at this game now. Even the mid-grade competition player is like amazing at this game, I would say, compared to back in the day, a year and a half ago. And so when you shoot someone with a FAL, the beauty of the FAL is by the time they hear it, they've already been hit 2 to 3 times. And that means you can get up to about 90 damage in 3 shots before they build, essentially. And that's one-op shot, right? It's essentially one-op shot. So this gun is valuable. It's also really good with ammo efficient, so you don't need to pick up any extra ammo, unlike other assault rifles like the AKM. And so it's actually very efficient if you're good with it, like really good with it, and we have a video in this channel for how to do so. I would honestly put it in A tier. I'm like lingering with it in B tier because it does take some skill to use. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it at the back of A tier for now. Like, I do feel it is a really good weapon in this current meta if you can use it. You don't use this close range. It does dog water damage close range, but you use this mid range and honestly mid to long range, and you're probably like, if you're good with it, you can do like fantastic with it. You could play comp with it, which is great. The only problem is it's not S tier. A tier is like, it's fantastic, it's great. S tier is like, these guns need a nerf. They are meta defining, okay, just so that we're aware. And we'll probably recap that later as we get to it. All right, let's choose one that's interesting. The sword. Do we rank the sword? I don't know. I feel like we don't rank the sword. In pub games, it's great. In competition, we don't usually get to use this because it's kind of broken. Like, because of how lag works in this game, this weapon's like stupid strong. How about this? Because we don't really use the sword a lot in competition, I'm just gonna put it here in the S tier because there is really nothing like it. No, you know what? Yeah, let's just put it at the back A tier because it's a great weapon. It kills people. If you can master it, you can go boom, boom, they're dead before they even realize it. The beauty of it is that it works with the lag in this game. Like, lag in this game sucks, and so it does work in that regard. Okay, so we're having stream keeps jumping. Ooh, not okay. Gotcha. That's unfortunate. We're having streaming issues. Hopefully the recording will work out better. Okay, so the sword is great, but only because it works with lag, just because there's a lot going on server-wise for this game. I don't know whether we just have crappy servers or just a high load on the servers, but like, the sword is great for close range. There's only one gun that really stands a chance, close range, and boom, here it is, the Tech 9. This is meta defining. When I put out a masterclass video for you to show you how to use this weapon, and I knew as soon as I put that out, I was like, oh god, here we go. 2 to 3 months from now, everyone's going to be using this, and it is going to be like the meta. And god, it is in the highest level of competition, in the close range. Everyone's got one of these. Everyone kills, like, you with this gun. The reason why it's so dangerous is it has essentially the fastest time to kill in the game, I believe, besides the sword. And so you can do that from a longer range than the sword, obviously. If you have a 2, 3, or 4 star, it's really good because it has more ammo. The weakness of it is it has low ammo capacity. So if you miss any shots with the white one, you're probably going to die because you have to reload before you kill the person. And the time to kill becomes much longer, okay? And so it is a meta-defining gun because it is the meta now. And so I'm going to put it at the top of S tier for now, and we will adjust as we get along. But right now, all you have to do is grab one of these bad boys, hold down the trigger. It's really easy to aim. I mean, it's not easy to aim like mid distance, but like you can still do it. But like close range, like what you gotta aim at? You just shoot the guy point blank, shoving it in their chest, right? And this thing is gonna do great. And so everyone's using this, even the highest level of comp. Honestly, I don't like it because of how kind of cheesy it is. But Big Box has done their job successfully because they didn't like how the DT11, like if you didn't know how to use a DT11, you couldn't compete in the close range. So they added this, and now the problem is this is so strong, the DT11 is really not that meta anymore, to be honest with you. And so I was streaming recently, and someone said, should we still use the DT11, the shotgun? And this is where we're going now. And I told them, I was like, to be honest with you, unless you were an old pro, like back in my time when I was seriously competing at this thing, like hardcore serious, like if you knew how to use it then, like I did, then you're probably good using it, and it's still like bottom of S tier probably, maybe top A tier, let's say. But the problem is it's a very high skill weapon to use, and the only way that the DT11 competes with the Tech 9 is if you know how to utilize build while you are fighting, because the Tech 9 sucks at breaking build. And if you shoot 3 bullets from a Tech 9 into build, you're not going to kill the enemy. And so if the DT11 player knows the person has a Tech 9 and it's a one-on-one, like in theory, assuming equivalent skill but high level skill, the DT11 is going to win. But when I mean high level skill, I mean like these people practice on a daily basis for like a year, and I know many people who do that or have done that. And so for the average player, this is definitely not like the weapon to use. But there are situations where it is more overpowered than the Tech 9. For example, if you're in the zone fighting, the DT11 is better because with a couple zone ticks of damage, then you are within a 2-shot kill range of the DT11, so you don't need to reload, which makes the time to kill faster than the Tech 9. Okay, so there are situations where a DT11 is better, but I am going to put the DT11 at A tier. And so we'll just keep it there for now, okay? It's not S tier, I would believe, because if you play at the highest level of comp, honestly, everyone's just running Tech 9. And the problem is, in a one-on-one, the DT11's S tier. But this is not a one-on-one game, and there's no even one-on-one competitions. And so the problem is, when you're fighting 3-on-3, to get in there with like if you have a DT11 and you're trying to get into the close range, you got 3 enemies blasting you with Tech 9s versus like 1. You get what I mean? And so like the thing was a Tech 9, the guy can peek from quite a distance away and just unload, reload, unload, reload, unload on the enemy. Whereas the DT11, you gotta get a little closer, right? The effective range is closer, and that's what makes it not S tier. It's not broken. It doesn't need a nerf, is my opinion. I do think the Tech 9 needs a nerf because of how easy it is to use and how lame it is, because by the time I personally don't like this fast time to kill meta, because in virtual reality where everything is super laggy, like there should be a little bit more leeway. In a game like Valorant, desktop games where everyone has fast reaction because the servers are great, the game is not a high load like our virtual reality game is. I don't feel like high time to kill is great, and it takes us longer to get in a game due to the headset, the virtual reality headset. I feel like time to kill should be higher, but that's just my personal opinion. Okay, so we're getting the close range out of the way with. I'm trying to get all the close range weapons in here. Oh, that's just another DT11. So let's get the M10 in here. So the M10 is very interesting because, oh god, because of how strong the Tech 9 is, the M10 is still not meta. Okay, now the only way the M10 outdoes the DT11 and the Tech 9 is if someone is excellent god tier movement. What does that mean? They utilize builds. So they're building Fortnite style, and they're flying across the build while they're building. Quick switch to the the M10. Shuffle while they're shuffle along, so they're not staying still, and they're moving while they're holding down the trigger of the M10. And so they're constantly moving while auto spamming like a gold M10. And they're not sitting in one spot waiting for the damage to break the build and die. They're like shuffling along the build while spamming the M10. Like, I've seen it done to me, not recently, but a while ago. It's not easy to do, though. It's like, it only happened to me once, like, ever. And so, like, it's not easy to do, but it is easy to use. You just hold down the trigger. The gold M10 has a fast time to kill, nearly as fast as a professional with the DT11. So for most average people, the gold M10 is a sure thing. Let's assume this is gold. We'll put this in the A tier, perhaps in the back end. Purple and blue and white are honestly not that good because the time to kill drops dramatically in the close range, which is no good when you got Tech 9s just blasting. So let's just put this at the bottom of A tier right now. When I see the gold M10, even in competition, I go, hell yeah, because I don't have to think about reloading right. I can focus more on my movement. So it does belong there, I believe, up there. Okay, so here we got the Tech 9s everywhere. Okay, so I think we've covered most of close range weapons. I think we got another contender for close range ish. So the P90, it was so funny because we've done this tier list video for like years now, and the P90 never made it like to these top 2 tiers until goddamn recently, until the last tier list video. And I was honestly skeptical of whether it belonged up in a decent tier. And now I can firmly say it does deserve its spot up here, because it is somewhat counter to the Tech 9. Not really. In point blank, you always lose P90 to the Tech 9. But if you know to stay a little bit further away and just blind fire spam, it's pretty decent. This is really good for like Phoenix style play, because of just the lag and all that kind of stuff. I would put this down here at the bottom of A tier. It's reliable. It's got 50 bullets. And the reason why it's so good is because it breaks builds still really well. There's not a lot of guns in the close range. Actually, there's no guns in the close range that do it like it does. And so with that, let's just keep it solid in A tier. And let's keep the foul. I think the M10 is still higher than the foul. So we're reorganizing here. The P90 is very good because of how good it is at build break. It is the only gun close range that is good at build break, because you can break a couple build and you can kill someone. There's really no other gun that can do that. So awesome. We like it. I use it particularly in Phoenix competition because a white one is good enough because it's got enough ammo. And so it's a great gun. It doesn't increase in damage with star size, if you're not aware. So the white one alone is really good. And those kind of weapons are great in Phoenix. I know this is not really a Phoenix particular tier list, but we'll just kind of rate it overall. It's up there. It's A tier. It's solid. It's good. I still use it quite frequently. If I see it, I know I don't need to necessarily have a close range weapon, but as soon as I see a Tech 9, a 2-star particularly and above due to the ammo capacity, I will drop the P90 and go for the Tech 9, just so you know. That's how I've evolved, at least. All right. So the RFB, since it's here, the RFB used to be A tier at one point. All right, and the stream is so laggy apparently, but at least the recording is probably all right. So the RFB, this is honestly probably C tier. In this current meta of fast time to kills, the RFB is just not contending, right? That's just the honest truth. It is not able to hold up. It doesn't kill people fast enough. I get 0 kills with this in competition unless someone's dumb enough to stand in the open for a long time or it doesn't have any build, and that doesn't happen a lot in competition. So like, this is honestly maybe even lower. I'm probably just going to put this in a good honest, I think I'm going to put it in D tier. God. Well, let's see how that goes for now. But like, it's really bad. Yes, you can get damage long range, but you're not getting kills at all because no one's dumb enough these days to stand in the open and die to an RFB. Like, it just doesn't happen. This way. How about this way? I think the P90 in most competition players' hands is better. In a 1v1, it's not as good. But like in a squad-based game, it is the best gun to break and build, and that's very helpful in a team. If you have one person spamming close range with a P90, it'll help break the build so the other people can fly in with the more dangerous close range weapons. So like, it is a good gun. Let's put this top 8 tier. I think that's about right. Wow, what a weird meta we live in. This is weird to me, who's done these for many years. part of the crew that was reviewing this gun, the SPR, with the big box dev team to try and see how we can balance this thing out. Because this thing was S tier and it was really broken before, and people were dominating with it, including my partner at the time, my competition partner. She was just our god with this weapon, and they banned it even from a league because she was just absolutely wrecking people with it. I would say it's B tier now. If you are a master with it, like you know how to shoot it without scoping through it, and you're really good with the aim, it can still kill people. And you can one-hand peek with it still. It still does respectable damage, not necessarily broken, crazy damage. I would say it's a solid B tier. Yeah, it's not a bad weapon. I've done some pretty cool things with it, and yeah, can't complain about it really too much. Just that the damage got nerfed, which makes it not S tier anymore. I think it's in a good spot. It was kind of ridiculous what this thing was doing, the SPR sniper rifle. And so I think it is in a really healthy spot. So good job, Big Box. Good job, everyone. And you know who you are, who are working on refining this. Weller was one of those, and I'll give it a big shout out to Weller. Good shout out to Weller. Watch his stream and all that. He put a lot of work into making sure this wasn't nerfed to oblivion, so it's still usable. And so here we go with the AWP, man. The AWP is the most broken gun in the game, and I honestly regret putting out videos on how to teach everyone how to use this, because it is like, I jumped back into competition somewhat recently and it's so lame because honestly competition is really lame, because all it is people standing in long range, hell even mid range, with AWPs, because peeking got nerfed now. So even if you're peeking, you think you're really low peeking, someone can hit you with an op still easy. So peeking got nerfed, so ops are like even stronger, so everyone uses ops from mid-range to far range, hell even somewhat close range. And so what happens is everyone knows it's so dangerous, so you can't just fly out willy-nilly in the open or even go in the open. So everyone's stuck behind their hard cover, just sitting there with an op, poking with an op, boom, boom with an op, boom, boom with an op, rotate, boom, boom with an op. And it's pure ops, like 100% pure ops almost at long range, and like 80% ops at mid-range. And then finally you get into the close range and people are using Tech 9s. And like the honest meta at the highest level competition is just like ops, or even in competition generally, is ops and Tech 9. Ops and Tech 9. And it gets really boring, to be honest with you, from my perspective. Because I do think they're both really lame weapons. Everyone goes, oh, the op takes massive skill though. Honestly, it doesn't. I just did a group coaching class for people who didn't really know how to even quick scope the op, and now they're double tapping their quick scoping after just 1 hour. Okay, I literally taught 6 people at the same time how to quick scope and how to double tap, how to drag scope, you name it, in a solid hour. I've taught probably over 230 people individually or in group classes over several years on how to do this, not including through the videos we do in the master classes, which are available in this archive should you be a newer viewer. And so this is not hard to learn. I can literally teach someone in an hour how to op like a pro, which took us, the pros, like years to master. Now it can be learned in a single sitting. And so it is not that hard to master. Yes, to do the crazy Ryan Today stuff where you're slamming 3 shots at the same time, that's hard, but you don't need to do that to utilize this at the top level tier. Okay, as long as you're able to double tap, this thing is good enough, because no one stands there to get shot by 3 shots anyways. And so, because they just put up one piece of build and they're somewhat safe. And so double tapping is all you need to do, and that's not hard to do. The op is stupid strong, and God, it hasn't had a change in forever. I don't anticipate it will, but it is method of fighting, because once you see one of these, you're essentially using that to the end of the game until you get to the close range, because the zone gets small, and then you're starting to use this. Like, that's really all you got. You need at least one person on your team who is amazing with the op, or you cannot compete. That is just the simple facts. And even in competition, when you remove the op, the competition gets fun all of a sudden, and the skill level starts, like the competitiveness all other teams starts to equivalent. And so, anyways, the op is there. It's always been there. Enough said. Let's move on. Don't get me wrong, when I'm in competition, that I am the opper, and so I hate on it, but don't get me wrong, that's like what I use 95% of the time in the game, because it's still effective, and it's the only, I haven't played competition in a while, but it's the only thing I can still compete with the best with. And so the op is it's amazing. Speaking of broken weapons, Here we go with the MK goddamn 18, okay? This gun has been a sleeper for a little while, okay? We did acknowledge it in the last one, and we did place it up there. I believe, that's my guess. Yeah, I just took a peek. Yeah, it was up there then, and it's up there now. And back when we made the last tier list video, and we'll peek at that just for fun when we're done, we're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be meta. And it wasn't yet. And what happened? It is meta. This is the main competition gun that is used, aside from these other two here. As soon as someone sees a white one, they pick it up because the damage is the same. It just has less bullets, but you can shoot it the same so long as you're skilled on how to do so. And we have a masterclass video to show you in this channel on how to do that. It is the best weapon for breaking build. It is better at breaking build than the M60, which is also why it's stupid broken. Perhaps if it was nerfed on how much it could break build, it would be fair. But the problem is, because of how lag works in this game, you can spam someone who doesn't know they're getting shot. Like, they might only put up build haphazardly, as long as they're not spamming Fortniting and like they know you're shooting them with an MK18. A lot of the time you can catch them with it and you'll kill them through the build if they were somewhat hurt. And just because of how lag works. And so if they're not mentally prepared and spamming build ahead of time, they don't really have a chance. And so the MK18 is just straight broken. The meta right now is all about burst, and thus you can get 2 to 3 bursts in before people even realize it. They took more damage than an op sometimes, depending on a lot of factors. But it's easy to aim once you get used to it, and we have videos on how to do that. It is amazing. I picked this up. You can hit head peekers with it once you get good with it, and that's really all you like. The meta is now just ground walk, have good aim with these 3 weapons, and you're gonna do fine. That is the meta, and it is what it is. This is what we live, and it's been like that since the last one for the MK18. So go MK18. It was the worst gun for many, many, many years. Well, this game's only been out, 4.5 years, 5 years, and for most of that, it was crap. Now it is king, so I guess it deserves its spot in the sunlight, right? It's been crappy long enough. All right, so the AKM, gosh, where do we put this thing? This thing used to be A tier. This thing was honestly A tier, S tier forever in Population 1. Whew, I don't know where to put this bad boy now, because I tried to make this work, and it's one of the guns I was best with for a long time, and now every time I use it in competition, I don't get any kills with it. I do damage with it, and then I run out of ammo with it, and so I'm always scrounging for ammo in competition, wasting time picking up ammo, and I run out of ammo, and then I have this gun that doesn't have any ammo in it by the end of the zone, and I haven't gotten any kills unless someone was dumb enough to stand there or didn't have any build, because that's the only way you get a kill with this, because as soon as someone starts spamming build, or even putting a few build, the AK does nothing to build at long range or mid range. So it's like totally ineffective against any kind of build. It's not fast enough to kill someone before they put build up, at least not unless they're in the close range, because it is the highest assault rifle damaging gun in the close range. But in the mid range and long range, where assault rifles are used, like, it isn't good for that. So I'm honestly, God, I'm putting this down. I mean, it is probably the only one-stop reliable gun that is just average Joe across all areas: close range, mid range, far range. So with that, it probably deserves to be in B tier. But if this was like a purely competition-based video, I would put this in an honest C tier. But since this is kind of just like an overall tier list video, I'm going to put this in B tier. It is solid, reliable. It isn't what it used to be because of how fast other guns kill in the meta now, which is crazy. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Okay, the M60, the good old days of the M60. Well, everyone is a god with an op now. So the problem is, unless you know how to, like, you understand how people shoot with the op, and you understand how to dodge people with an M60, which is not easy because you have slow movement speed while you're moving and shooting with it. If you don't know just how to time how people shoot and swiggle, swaggle, wiggle, waggle, zip, zip, zag here and there, like, you're gonna die, like, instantly. And so, like, it's not that easy to do. That's why not a lot of people do it. It is not the best gun to break and build because the MK18 is now. So, like, where does it belong? I'm gonna put it C tier. I am going to put it C tier. I'm just going to straight put it C tier. It is very niche, as in one team's coming in from zone and they're stuck in the open and they don't have much build. Yeah, that's where the M60 does well. But, like, how often does that happen? Not enough to probably warrant carrying the gun, honestly. You're probably better off just taking the MK18 and spamming the person's build. It does the same thing. So, unfortunate. It was kind of cool when it was like not broken, but when it was stronger. All right, this is going to be a fun one. The Magnum. You know, I've been using the Magnum, and it has done some magical things. It can two-tap someone. I believe you need the purple one to two-tap, as in you get a headshot and a body shot at its effective range, which is close to mid-range. You can kill someone. Is that easy to do? Not necessarily, but you can blind fire peek. Essentially, you can peek and do it really tightly, which is great. Ammo efficient. I mean, if you were like a god with this weapon, I would honestly put it in A tier. I am not personally. I'm just like average with it. So like, yeah, I do believe like if someone put the time into mastering it, you wouldn't be foolish. And so I could see it being up here in the back A tier. I think for how the meta is, it might even be there. I'm going to put it there because in competition, for example, as soon as someone gets hit, they build a fortnight. Like they build a castle with build, and then you like can't do anything to them because their teammates are covering them, right? But all you need, like this thing, boom, boom, and you did a whole bunch of damage. One shot is respectable for what it is. Like it's a pistol, right? And so it's not horrible. If you are great with it, it actually shoots pretty quick. You can think of it like the FAL. I'm not going to put it higher than the P90 and the M10. That's crazy. But how about this? Let's put it there. This is not like a current thing. Like people are using this like to this day. This is like I predict like if people figure it out and then start playing with it correctly, which is hardcore tight peeking with it and just playing kind of like whittling the enemy down, right? And catching them off guard. Like that's what this weapon is for. It's like the better version of the FAL but shorter distance, if that makes sense. I think once people figure it out and if they care to put in the time to learn it, they're going to be rewarded, and then it might, maybe more people will pick it up, and then it becomes like meta where it is up here. So that's like a future one, okay? All right, we're getting through these pretty quickly here, and I feel like I'm missing guns, which is horrible. I'm probably going to have to like cut and edit. But let's get the MP9 here. This thing is absolute dog water. In Phoenix, they give it to you to start with, and so that's how you know it's a piece of crap, right? So like, yeah, it's not even worth it. As a matter of fact, you know what? Maybe we should just keep all guns that are just like not worth talking about up here because there's quite a bit of those. No, I put it here. It is E tier. If there's anything that's going to E tier, it's MP9. It's very. Oop, that was the old one. It's very difficult to kill people with this, and that's why you get it in Phoenix. Like, right? Like, I think if there's anything that's solidified in my mind that gun sucks, is that they gave it to you for free in Phoenix because of how bad it is. Like, it doesn't kill anyone unless you're like point blank and like they're dumb enough to stand there and eat the bullets, right? And so let's move on. The UMP, this thing is reliable. It's easy to aim. It's not as bad damage as the MP9, but it's not as good damage as the MP5, and it's not as good damage as the P90, obviously. So let's put this in a solid C tier. I think that is a good spot for it. The Seiko. The Seiko is a great gun if you are a master with it. The problem is it's harder to use than the AWP, and so with that, it's not broken, it's not overpowered. Hell, it's probably not even A tier because you'd probably rather have someone with a nice AWP have that ammo, right? And so how this gun is even competitive is you can peek with it and fire, and if you know how to reload and do that very quickly, it makes it very dangerous and kind of just like the Magnum. Like if like a professional was using it, I'd put it A tier. I just don't think it is meta because it fights for the same ammo that the op uses. So we'll put it at the bottom of B tier. Like if you are a pro with it, you can do magic with it. But is it worth that risk when there's so many other things you have to control in the game? All right, let's just put this one here and get it over with. CX4, 1911, also in like D tier. So the CX4 is dog water. The only time the CX4 is useful because it has a low time to kill is when someone's in the air a mile away and they just came out of their pod and for whatever reason they're not skydiving down, right? That's where you get free damage. Now, 1911, this thing actually does damage, especially if you hit headshots, but like, you should, I mean, it doesn't do it better than like a lot of these other weapons, and so why do it, all right? And so we're gonna put a D tier. Same thing with the, that is not, that is, I guess that's a PX4. It's supposed to resemble it. It kind of looks like a Beretta. But anyways, let's call this the PX4. That is a PX4, I believe. Also down here, technically the PX4 has a faster time to kill than the 1911. It's actually a really fast time to kill on paper, but in practice, it's really hard to hit headshots. And that's what you need to make this thing a deadly weapon. I've seen the best players in the world with it, specifically Function and Duhan, and they are amazing with it, and they are very scary with it, and they try to make it work in competition, but it does not work at the highest levels of competition, and they are the best in the world with it, so we're going to keep it where it is. Right? Okay, MP5 is solid. All right, let's put, okay, the MP5 is a solid gun, all right? The MP5 has good time to kill, particularly for the purple and above, because really you need ammo. And well, it's got good time to kill, period. But the good ones are the purple and above because its weakness was always the ammo capacity. If you miss any bullets, it's very dangerous. But it has a faster time to kill than the UMP and the MP9, but slower than P90 technically, unless you get headshots. The cool thing is with the MP5, it's easier to get headshots, even if you one-hand it. There are videos in this channel for how to do so. And so the MP5 is a solid weapon. Okay, so the Uzis, when these were meta, they were really fun. Unfortunately, they're not meta. They are on paper the fastest body shot time to kill, assuming you don't miss any bullets, right? The problem is it's okay at breaking build, but it's just not, and you have to ground walk, and ground walking, which means walking like just on your feet in the close range, is dangerous when someone with a Tech 9 can just peek and kill you, all right? So unfortunate that this is not meta, but it is what it is. Takes a lot of ammo too, and ammo is not easy to come by these days, it feels like. Matadors, unfortunately, these are dog doo-doo. As much as fun as I have with them, and in competition, I even got like gold ones, and I kind of know how to use it. And even then, like, just because of how lag works, like, since you can't peek with it in the close range, you are just massively at a disadvantage. Someone's going to fly in on you, and because of how lag works, you're always going to lose that fight against the Tech 9, against the DT11 even. Hell, against even the gold M10, all right? It's not easy to pull off, even though on paper it's good. I'm going to keep these in D tier. I do think they belong there, unfortunately. Even though I pick these up and use them for fun all the time, because I think they're just cool guns. Nothing better than flicking them around. We're going to jump back and take a look at our old tier list. Oh my god, this was 2024. I don't have the month, but this is a literal year ago I clipped this. Yeah, it's a year ago. So has the meta changed in a year? Well, the SPR dropped. Sword's still kind of up there. Tech 9 went up. Oh yeah, I put it in the middle. Tech 9 was in the middle before. Now it is the dominant force. I knew that was a good call. I'm feeling pretty good about that. That looks to be the meta right here. Honestly, I don't even know if the DT11 is A tier. Only in a good player's hands. Average player's hands, we should probably put like this. I think it's this way. Yeah, I think it's more like, yeah.